Hey, hi, I'm Mona. This is Chit. So, where did I put it? I was reading a book. I was reading a Buddhism book. I don't know where I put it. I put it somewhere. I don't know where I put it, y'all. It's okay. Oh, here it is. So I was reading this book. I just had breakfast. I just did, I did the little video journal diary, and then I was reading after breakfast. And I found something nice. I want to read it to you guys. After my conquest, I felt great sorrow, and I began to follow righteousness, dharma, right? For all beings I desire security, self-control, calm, and gentleness. The greatest victory is the victory of righteousness. Righteousness is having few faults and many good deeds. Mercy, charity, truthfulness, and purity. The goal is to escape from evil inclinations, cruelty, harshness, anger, pride, envy, idleness, obstinacy, and bad temper. When a few years back, or many years back, there used to be this guy, right? And he used to, like all of us, we've all had our little run-ins with the devil, right? But something happened to him where his life changed, and he started focusing on the Bible. And a lot of the things, like, we would talk about stuff and he'd be like, righteous, we used to be making fun of that all the time. But we were making fun of that because we were running with the devil. We thought that was funny. And in those times, I was running around with the devil myself and laughing at all kinds of stuff like that. And then something happened to me. Yeah, something happened to me. And I was pulled out of the underworld, basically. I was dragged out. I was forced out. And now, from that reading I just read, I have changed to a life of righteousness. Like, I don't care to be around angry or mad people. I don't care to be around people who have a big ego or who think they're better than anyone else, because anyone who thinks that they're better than you, you better believe that person is way beneath you. You are not their equal. You are above them. Yeah. Anybody who tries to act like they're better than you, I know, like, on my channels, I talk a lot about stuff, about intelligence and all that stuff, but that doesn't make me better than anyone. It just makes me more knowledgeable. I have more life experience, whatever. Anyone can get to this level if you focus. You change your life. You study. You contemplate. Whatever you need to do. Anybody could get to this level. But people don't. They just do enough to get by, to just try to be important. Everybody's got to be a part of a crowd, and that's just ridiculous. If you can't find yourself, you got to find yourself within a crowd who probably doesn't even respect you, probably thinks that you're a pushover and we could do whatever we want. Oh, this person wants to hang out with us, so let's make them miserable, or let's make them do whatever we want them to do just to fit in, and I've never fit in. So I don't really know what that feels like, to fit in with a group. Because basically every group that I tried to fit in with or be a part of, they all had some ulterior motives of taking advantage of others or seeing what they could get out of others, whether they were friendly with you or not. So, what can you do about those people? Nothing, and just separate yourself from them. And you know what? Unfortunately, it's like there's so many people like that in the world. So you're going to probably find yourself separating yourself from all kinds of stuff, And I'm not the only one who's like this. I remember going on journeys and being like out in the middle of nowhere at campsites, that people will go there knowing that There's nothing for miles, but they packed up everything and they're going to pack it back out when they leave. But I mean, I've met people in the mountains who are actually doing 40 days and 40 nights. Have you heard of that? They go into the wilderness, they stay there 40 days and 40 nights, and they die. This is something I heard from somebody, I think they're indigenous people. It was somebody who has indigenous relatives, as in, Native Americans, right? Because this is the area that I've met these people, that they would go into the wilderness 40 days and 40 nights to die, only to emerge brand new after those 40 days. And I met this one person like that, and he brought me the cactus fruit that he was eating. His family was even coming down to the spot, and they even gave me food to give him there, because they're like, have you seen a guy who looks, and I said, yeah, he's around here, but he goes off. He comes around here and he goes off. He's like, this is for him, can you please give it to him? And it was just extra supplies and food. And I'm like, yeah, sure, and I did see him again, and I was like, here, your family brought this for you, and wanted me to give this to you. At that particular place, I actually painted a mural for that area, for, what was it, the Apache Stronghold. I painted a mural for them over there. It was a donation. I donated my time and energy on that. But that's where I met somebody like that. And it was so interesting to me, because even though I'm not doing 40 days and 40 nights, which I've probably done well over that, I am on this kind of journey like that. It's just not the same as what they're doing, to try to find death to something, right? Not me, just like death to an old way, or death to stressing on a trauma, something like that. So yeah, I'm looking outside because the camera is right in front of the door, so I'm looking at the nature out there. But there's a lot of people like that here, and you know what? And a lot of people are coming out of their shells, because I think the fact that there's people out here going through that, they have to go in private to do these things because they are shunned for doing it, for trying to find peace within themselves and trying to heal from traumas and stuff like that. And there's definitely a lot of people out there that try to stop people from healing, which is a shame. And that's where, being yourself, releasing jealousy and envy and ego and all that stuff comes in. If you can't release that stuff, you will never find yourself. You will never die and be reborn as something more beneficial to yourself and to civilization, society. You know what I'm saying? If you're always holding in those traumas and just being like, and being that victim your whole life, this happened to me and that. Yeah, things can happen, but you shouldn't talk about it like that. You should talk about it like, listen, this happened to me and that happened to me, but I understand, what happened there and beyond, right? Because we're not just looking at what's happening right now. We're looking at the whole picture of the past and the whole picture of the future, right? Looking ahead. People don't do that. They just look at what's happening right now. This is where you are here and now. Okay, because the past is an illusion and the future is an illusion. But you can manipulate those things to work in your favor if you are a righteous person. Like that guy says, righteous. Not really making fun of that guy anymore. I'm pretty much with it now. I'm pretty much with that righteousness, but you're gonna have people out there making fun or making jokes or calling people crazy, because I did that to that guy. We were laughing about it, joking about it, but now I see the seriousness of it. He was serious, and he was a righteous guy, and now I totally 100% believe, what he was saying, and things like this, they wake us up when we contemplate, Instead of worrying about what everybody else is doing, how about worrying about what you're doing in your life, and your happiness, and your joy? Because all you're doing is holding yourself back. Anyways, that's the little chit chat I wanted to have, because I was reading this book and I thought it was interesting, some of the things I read out of there. So, but that's all I have for you guys. I'm Mona. This is Chit Chat, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.